Phenomenon.
And we're live.
Phenomenon.
Yeah, we're live.
All right. So, welcome to the Real Pundits podcast.
Yep. Wait. We're not doing a Real Pundits podcast. We're not
doing a
just
crossover.
we're doing a crossover.
This is the Real Pundits meets the Geek Out
Yes.
on a Goodbye 2018 episode.
Yeah, this
of
is
the Real
our
Pundits
New
podcast.
Year's episode. Instead of trying to go through and do two different ones, we're going to put them all into one once again because there's things on the geek side I want to talk about.
So, I'm going to be talking about the my best worst moments of 2018 in cinema.
Yeah.
Things I found that are ridiculous, but I found hilarious. And I'm going to go with a top three. And I've given Alex the homework of giving me a top three films of 2018 since he is Captain Positivity. But before we get into that, we had a punishment.
Yep, the punishment that just seemed to never end. It was like a bad lamb chop episode.
Yeah. So we reviewed
A Christmas Story.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about Ralphie and how crappy this movie was.
Do we have to?
I'll go into it. I'll just review it for the both of us. We both hated it.
Yes. And I want to
so
see what your score's going to be.
This is a revival of the ghosts of Christmas past here. At least and not in the positive. It's a Christmas Carol. We're going to teach Scrooge how to be a person, and Tiny Tim's going to be saved. This is a somebody kicked Tiny Tim's little cane over and dressed Tiny Tim up in a little bunny costume. Really crappy movie. This movie was the most boring vanilla Christmas film I've ever seen. I'm not sure why anybody cares about this. I don't know why anybody revisits this film.
Because it's a part of their Christmas traditions.
Okay,
it's certain movies that you...
It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas tradition. Watching Miracle on 34th Street.
For some
these
people,
are classics.
This is a new age classic. But see, the whole thing is what you're missing out on is the narrative. Is watching the narrative. There is some positives to be brought up from this movie. An overarching narrative where you have the main character telling the story, giving you the insight of what's going on with him and why it was going on. I thought it was, as much as you want to sit there and say all these different things that are negative about it, and trust me, I agree with you, this is not one of my favorite films, but I can see where the positives from this movie came from.
It's about a selfish little boy who just wants to get his little rifle, and it's so stupid.
Yes, but at the same time, should it be still shown is the question I want to ask you.
It's not one of those things that...
I mean, 24 hours on one channel, it being shown over and over again. Do you think Ralphie's story needs an ending?
I think Ralphie's story should have been over a long time ago.
But it's now part of a Christmas tradition. It's like getting together with your friends and watching the worst B-rate movie you could possibly find in the bargain bin. So that's our bad Christmas movie. So as much as you want to hate on,
bad Christmas movie. Look. When's the last time anybody saw it and actually paid attention to it? That's the question. Because it was hard for me to keep focus on this boring, slow film. The movie sits... It has this untouchable reputation because it's a classic, right? And not all classics are created good.
No.
Let's be clear about this.
Not even getting into the whole thing of...
I am the guy that screams for classic cinema, right? But not all classics are created good.
No, we're not even getting to whether or not it was good or not.
There is not a single likable character in that entire film. There is, in any scene where the main character is with one of his friends at school, that scene ends with one of them being abandoned by their friends and some horrible fate to stand alone with the bullies, frozen tons, etc. There's no redeeming qualities amongst this core group of kids. I mean,
there's not a redeeming story in it. That was the point of what they're showing.
Point. Right.
But that's one of the things that they're actually showing
a statement
is that
on American commercialism and
wow, now you're picking up what I'm laying down.
Okay, well, I don't think that's what the director intended. I think this was...
You know what? I think it has to be because the entire thing was about what? A BB gun.
Ralphie getting his BB gun. Right.
Yeah.
And in 1983, that was they were trying to depict, because that's when this movie was made, it was 1983. Mm-hmm. They were trying to depict the average American child in the 1950s. This movie was directed at all those kids in the 1950s that wanted that red ribbon, that airsoft rocket, that airsoft gun.
The pre-airsoft gun.
Right. This was directed at those people who are now grown up with kids of their own, so they could relate to it and their kids would enjoy it because it was a movie about kids for adults. Here's the problem.
Okay.
Slow pacing. No relatable characters. Terrible story. Even worse editing.
Wait a minute now. I actually have to give if you're going to sit there and take a whole bunch of scenes that really didn't work really well together, the editor actually did his job or her job.
I mean, if he was trying to sabotage the film, sure.
Ooh, come on now.
I mean,
it wasn't choppy, and scenes didn't jump that far.
And let's be real, this movie shouldn't be shown in 2018 either.
Now, see, I was going to bring that up. I didn't want to,
but I didn't know. There's definitely some scenes.
Were you talking about the going out for Chinese dinner?
Well, yeah, that's one.
Which I'm amazed that hasn't been picked up yet.
Ralphie's fantasy about shooting imaginary black people inside of trying to rob his house.
Right.
Let's really talk about this film.
I mean, we're gonna go into.
I am not this guy. I am not the guy that goes, "Hey, look, this movie's racist," and it's not racist. It's supposed to show a scared little thing
for its
in a time period. I understand that, and I'm not saying it should be banned. I'm saying the movie was terrible in its time period.
Yes, but if we're gonna go down this road, and the movie still plays, it's on a channel for 24 hours. Why are we giving the same treatment to other movies that are considered classics? Like, for example, one of my all-time favorites, Blazing Saddles. There's people online right now going through and watching Blazing Saddles and giving it crap because they think it's racially unaware.
But if we're more racially aware than any racially aware film in 2018.
Exactly. So if you're going to sit there and go through and talk smack about one movie, you have to hit them all across
because
the board.
This is a world of double standards. Here's the thing about all those people complaining about things being racially insensitive. 90% of them are all white people, and white people love A Christmas Story.
I'm trying to sit there and see if I have a way of like countering you on that one. Nope.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Horse. Nope.
No, sir. I don't like it.
But
I mean, this is the thing. Most of them complaining are all white people who are trying to virtue signal, going, "I'm good," and none of them want to attack their own childhood and the things that they enjoyed growing up, even though it is mildly racist and or sexist. And it's fine. If you like this stuff, just like it, man. I
have no problem with people. If you like this, if you like A Christmas Story, hey, that's your movie. Yeah, that's part of your Christmas tradition.
I think you have bad taste in film, but
everybody's allotted a bad B-rate film. And I consider this
that's not a bad B-rate film. That's a terribly done mainstream film.
I don't consider it a mainstream film. I think
it is a mainstream Christmas film.
This is a Christmas B movie. Because if you put it up there against It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th, it's a B-rate film.
Oh, no, it's just different time periods, man.
No, that movie was B-rate. Like, let's just call it what it is.
It's F. It gets a
F grade.
This gets a -1 out of 5.
So with my 1.5, it knocks it up to what?
A 0.5.
A 0.5. We don't even give a 0.5 to a movie.
We are this time.
And so this is how we're going to end the year out with talking about
A Christmas Story being garbage. I'd rather watch Elf. At least Will Ferrell's enjoyable. He adds some personality. I mean, this is, and yes, this was a mainstream film. It was.
Give me the numbers.
In 1983, this budget was $3.3 million. Wow! For a Christmas movie, that's a big budget.
That's a huge budget for a Christmas movie.
This was opening weekend. It lost money. At November 20th of 1983, $2 million. But it's grossed $19 million from their bargain bin DVD sales.
Oh, that's where No, they probably got 18 of that just from TBS going through and buying the rights for 24 hours.
But I mean, it's got Bob Clark, a guy that directed it. It's not like this was not some movie that was just a flash in the pan. They weren't sure what they were going to do. They were banking on this being a big deal. And it wasn't. It was terrible. People look at it through nostalgic glasses now, and that's why they like it. But it's still a terrible film.
So we're not going to go through and review next year the part 2?
No, next year we're going to review Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation.
You're planning that now just to have something.
Oh, yeah, just for a Christmas review. And I like that film, so it'll be pleasant. Because
another classic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Chevy Chase. I could do the whole Vacation series. It doesn't get stupid till they go to Vegas.
There are some redeeming things in that one.
I mean, yeah.
I lost it once. What's that guy's name took over? Once Chevy Chase left is where I lose it.
Oh yeah, well no, that's the new stuff. So I mean, we could always go 2 other Christmas classics. We could review Die Hard or Home Alone.
Home Alone is also getting that whole ranking up there as far as being that same way. You know, another one that recently jumped into that whole it's a Christmas movie, Gremlins.
Well, Gremlins and Home Alone are both legitimate Christmas movies.
They are, but I never think of watching them during Christmas. And here it is, Gremlins 2 is a New Year's movie. I just recently, people are
Gremlins 2 is a New Year's movie.
Which I'm going, I get it.
And it's a comedy. not a horror.
Horror, yeah.
And Gremlins 1 was a horror that turned into a comedy. Gremlins 2 is they were self-aware. I mean, at least that's a good one. Home Alone's terrible.
I say if we're gonna go with if we're gonna properly review a movie, let's go with It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, we can do It's a Wonderful Life. We can do Miracle on 34th Street. We can go with Charlie Brown Christmas. We can go with one of the many of those old-timey cartoons like Rudolph or The Story of Santa or Little Drummer Boy, Frosty the Snowman. I've got them all. I love Christmas. I hate A Christmas Story.
So the Pundits' actual point is...
The first ever Pundit 0.5 out of 5. It doesn't even get a 1. It's a, you know what? Let's make it a 0.
Oh, just coming in right now is...
It's a 0.
It's a 0.
Yeah, no, it is a definite 0 on from me.
I'm going to give it 1.5.
Why? It hasn't deserved any of that.
My reasons comes down to they told a story. They gave an entire arc. Now, was that arc a positive arc? No.
It wasn't even a...
So I'm saying the real Pundit score...
Cat in the Hat tells a story. This movie does not.
Okay, Cat in the Hat was a bad movie too.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about the book.
Okay, the book is totally different. Right. But the concept comes down to it is also a part of a lot of people's Christmas tradition. Yes, it was tough to get through. Was it my type of movie? No. But was it a film in general? Yes. Can you sit through the film? Some people can. But I would like to take that, Testra's Choice challenge, that Pepsi challenge that you were talking about. How many people have actually watched the movie, or at least have it on while they're cooking or while they're eating?
How many people have actually sat through and paid attention? Because I had to. I just sit and pay attention to this stupid film.
And I say that it comes down to, it was, as you saw, they put together a film. Let's give it the respect of, it is a film.
Let's give it a 1 then.
That's what I was at least compromising.
We'll compromise it a 1.
It's a 1.
It's a 1 out of 5. And in my opinion, it doesn't deserve that 1. But that's the lowest score we've given thus far on the Pundits.
Yeah. And man, you had really a lot of stuff to go over on that one. You better now?
I'm good, man.
You good now? You can give the rest. You can do the rest of what 2018.
I can, and like positives, because things I found hilarious in 2018. So let's move on from that. We've reviewed A Christmas Story. Punishment's done. Thank you, listener, who suggested that. I hate you.
But now we're going to get into what were the moments this year. I'm going to start you on the positive side.
Okay,
what were the moments of 2018 cinematic moments?
Best cinematic moments is while we were sitting. My number 1. We'll start with the best, most positive thing I saw in cinema, in relation to cinema.
Okay.
It was when we were sitting in the theater for Avengers: Infinity War, and it's something I laughed at hysterically because of people's reactions. But it's a really good thing for cinema. When all the characters started dying at the end, dissipating into nothing, and after the snap, people had a legitimate emotional breakdown. People were crying about that. I'm sorry, Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good. Spider-Man moment, and then when T'Challa died, and when all of these other characters start getting, like when Groot goes, and then Rocket, you're like, oh man, and you're watching people have a breakdown in these theaters. They're crying. Which tells me that Marvel really did a good job building up these characters. No, it was hilarious to me. Because, in my opinion, Marvel didn't do a good job building up these characters.
Well, they were telegraphing it. Well, no, they did they did a great job with Spider-Man, because you just got introduced.
Spider-Man's fine.
And Black Panther was the same way. But if you were not in the concept of comic books and movies, that took you for they just started these movies. I love these movies, and now they're just going to kill these characters. So,
but it was a really cool moment to see fans coming together, feeling something for these characters, having a movie spark emotion in the audience, which is what you want to see as a filmmaker. You want them to react to your movie, whether they react with outrage or happiness or sadness or laughter, whatever you're going for. The directors wanted that to be an emotional scene. The creators wanted it to be emotional, and they did it. They got what they wanted from the average audience goer. They didn't get it from me because, well,
you're a sick individual.
I'm a cynic, and to me, it was telegraphed. And
that's the big problem of this, is that it was.
And the only thing that bothered me was it literally made Phase 2 and 3 useless.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, we have the Avengers.
Okay, but all right, then if you're going to give that huge positive, then I'm going to have to do the one thing and say the negative was the underside of Hollywood involving this. There should never have been like, hey, after Avengers 4 comes out, we're going to put out Spider-Man Far Away From Home. We're going to put out Black Panther 2. I'm like, you should have went up straight up to that line and just stopped.
Yeah, you should have never have announced what you have up and coming at conventions and knowing what's coming for the Marvel timeline. You should have kept people guessing, like, are they going to make another movie? Are any of these characters actually coming back? But saying, like, oh, they'll all return in Avengers 4. Why? Why? Leave it on a cliffhanger, man. Leave it on a...
People can't handle a cliffhanger nowadays.
Oh, come on. Go watch the movie Cliffhanger.
Or look at a lot of the stuff that goes on with Game of Thrones. That's the only place I can actually see leaving where that's all you get. You get half of a phrase, and then you have to wait
2 years,
9 months,
2 years. 2 years on this go.
Yeah.
2 years.
Are we going to at least preview the fact of what we're doing with that?
Okay, we are going to be in a minute, but not right now.
All right, what's your next thing? What's your next thing as far as your positive? Since I'm
this is not a positive. This is I found it hilarious to watch, but my God, is it sad. That's why I said these are the best, worst moments of 2018. Okay. It's either these are best moments that I found terrible, or terrible moments that I found to be the best.
Okay.
And this is a terrible cinematic interaction
this is gonna be
that
bad.
I found to be
You're
hilarious.
Building this up way too big.
Star Wars fans are the worst people in 2018.
I feel personally like you're attacking me.
You get a Force Awakens film and you're like, I want it to be different. You get something different, that wasn't the same. You're like, Solo's going to be a great film. That was the worst. Now, granted, mind you, I've been sitting over here going, you know what, they shouldn't make any of these films. It's all stupid. I was really disappointed. I realized when I came out of Force Awakens angry, I wasn't angry at the studio. I was angry at me because I didn't even like the prequels. And I thought they were going to give me something better. And I didn't like that either. So I went, you know what? I don't want to watch any more Star Wars movies. And I didn't go see them. You fans don't know what you want. You want Star Wars, but you want something different. You want diversity, but you don't want Princess Leia the hero.
I'm going to let him go ahead and continue to get this out of his system.
In the movie because she's Princess Leia. Forget the fact that she died, and we should be respectful instead of CGI.
And this is how we're ending 2018. I'm just going to talk underneath
it. It was terrible to watch you, but hilarious from the perspective of any other intelligent creature out there who goes, but this is what you asked for. It's hilarious to watch people freak out like that.
All right, so
I'm done.
You done?
That was my moment.
You got it out of your
Star
system?
Wars number 2. Star Wars fans are the worst people in 2018.
And okay, now since I am going to be representing a large collection of Star Wars fans, of course, you know I have to sit there and make some statement back about that. There are things that are going on inside of Hollywood that are making this war happen. But the one thing I can say, without the outside influence coming in, it has brought a lot of Star Wars fans together to sit there and have certain conversations over what it is that they really want in a Star Wars movie. And I think that the way we've done it as fans may have not been wasn't the best way of actually going through and handling it, but it got Star Wars fans talking. Now, yes, we are divided, and yes, there's going to be sides, but it also shows a lot of the non-geek initiated that there's a war going on. People are talking, they're picking sides, and if you really don't know your snuff, don't come into our war. I think there's a lot of big business that's done that.
I'm going to ask all the Star Wars fans one question.
You're going to get so much hate.
How many of you miss George Lucas? Because I bet a lot of you miss George Lucas.
But see, I'm also one of the people who can sit there and say I miss George Lucas because I still enjoyed the prequels.
See, here's the thing.
So it's not a thing of, oh, I miss George now because I gave him crap for the prequels. Were the prequels on par with the original trilogy? No, but they were a story that I enjoyed. There's parts of that movie.
To be honest, the only thing about the prequels that were bad were the actors chosen.
If you're going to get down to it, I'm saying one actor chosen.
Ewan McGregor?
Please, no. He did a great job.
Did he?
Yes.
Or did he just do better than Hayden Christensen?
No, he did a great job.
Did he actually do a great job?
He actually did a great job.
Because next to Liam Neeson, he didn't.
That was showing exactly where he was supposed to be at.
What, a bad actor next to a great actor?
Liam Neeson could sit there in 5 scenes for 5 seconds.
And outdo anybody but Morgan Freeman.
I'll give you that one.
But Liam Neeson couldn't tie Kevin Spacey's acting shoes. I'm telling you, like, Liam Neeson's not that good of an actor. No, he plays one of same three, but he's that much better than Ewan McGregor.
But Ewan McGregor was actually playing the role that he was supposed to be at that point, where he still had Qui-Gon Jinn. I have no beef with the prequels. My problem comes in with Hollywood interacting with its fan. Hollywood interacting with its fan base. That's where the real problem's coming up in. There should be a level of, if they want the respect, we respond with our respect by giving you money. Their response should be, hey, we got your money. Let's not treat you like crap. Wow. I think that's where the problem comes up into.
It's what you're asking for.
It's not even about what I'm asking for.
The Star Wars fans and the Star Wars films have a sadomasochistic relationship. Nobody's really enjoyed everything about it since the prequels. You guys are okay. This is going to be. I'm going to throw one thing out. Go ahead. Make your quote. Make your quote. The comedian Brian Posehn. This goes full credit to him. It's like being in an abusive relationship. You make excuses for it, and you keep coming back. You don't really like it. In fact, after it happens, you're really upset, and then you keep coming back and you keep making excuses. And then the Star Wars just treats you like crap. But you keep taking it on the chin. You keep coming back. You keep making excuses.
That's what you would say from the person outside who hears a couple arguing. Just because I happen to slam down my book because I disagree with something that's being said, no one knows that my film significant other is Dave Filoni, who's giving us the products that no one is complaining about. So when you're up there saying
that's animated, that's not
as film. Of right now in the world of Star Wars, it's still canon. So right now we're looking at
great animated series. You know what else is doing that? DC.
Up until
Aquaman.
Now.
Yeah, which we're going to get into that in a minute. Now.
But you want to push the whole thing of the geek world divided.
I don't push the geek world girl.
You were just going off saying that we're calling off like we're battered wives.
No, they don't know. They don't know what they want.
I think we do exactly what we want. The problem is, it's not.
They've
not
unified. They've unified. No, because you have half. You were just talking about a geek war, man. You have half the people enjoying these current things, saying that's exactly what we need right now in 2018. You have the other half that have been, and I'm not talking about it's literally a generational gap here, because the fans that are loving it are the fans that grew up knowing nothing but the prequels and then seeing the other ones as they got older. The fans that are hating it right now saw the original, then got really disappointed or mildly enjoyed it, depending on how they felt about it. The prequels happened. But they still saw the originals first. They had that love in their hearts. And look, what the prequels taught me was a very important lesson.
Oh, boy.
George Lucas is no Peter Jackson. And Star Wars is no Lord of the Rings.
This is how this is your whole build-up to get back to Star Wars versus Lord of the Rings.
Star Wars is not as good as Lord of the Rings. You know why? Because Lord of the Rings fans still like the Hobbit movies.
Why can't we all just be fans of things?
No, and see, this is the thing. I don't mind. I don't mind Star Wars fans being Star Wars fans. I know a lot of Star Wars fans. I say in 2018 they went a little crazy.
I'm not, as you see, I'm kind of stalling to see, is there any way I can say differently? No, we went all crazy, but there was a reason for it. And what you keep on pushing out of the whole conversation, even though we may have gone crazy and we have the two different sides that are beefing against each other, some of this, keyword, some, let's say around 60% of this, and that's being honest, is not our fault.
No, it's bad production.
Between bad production and the big machine really messed up some things within that. And that's not just my beef with Kathleen Kennedy. Brings me, see, that's like, moving that aside.
Screw Kathleen Kennedy. It's screw Disney.
It's strictly like the business side of this has totally messed up, because we had an entire almost half of a film shot to go, you know what, we really don't want you guys as directors, we're going to put in Ron Howard. We had the other one go through with tons of reshoots and a story adjustment away from the original plan that was set up by Abrams into what the new director, his artistic envisionment. And so now we have J.J. Abrams coming back for the last one, and everyone's going, a lot of the fans are like, oh, J.J.'s coming back and it's going to be all fixed. I'm not one of those fans who are like, we will see, because for him to correct course back from where we started off with 9, we're going to have some issues.
So you know what's cool about being a fan of certain horror movies, like Sleepaway Camp.
What do you think?
And and Final Exam, and movies that were just or Silent Night, Deadly Night, right?
Another classic,
right? So the cool thing about those is they haven't been remade, which means you haven't had what you love tarnished yet. They haven't been repicked up, so you can still look back on it with fondness, going, "Man, that was awesome." Instead of longing for what you had and hating what you have, you just can appreciate what you have, because it was great. So this is my problem with remakes right here. This is my problems with continuations. This is my problems with picking up things. Man, how much better would it be if you just had, I don't know, every couple of years they'd re-release the Star Wars into some theaters so you can see it. Like, I'm talking A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi in the theaters so you can see it. And you never had to worry about Hayden Christensen making Darth Vader a whiny character. And you never had to worry about, I don't know, anything that's happened in the new trilogy, and you could just fondly remember A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, because I guarantee you that'd be a much better experience than what you're seeing right
now. I would agree with you on that whole situation. I would love to actually see that happen, but there's these moments.
Can't close Pandora's box once it's open, though.
No, but there's also moments in that same genre that you're sitting there talking about where they succeeded recently, especially since we're talking about the best of 2018. They succeeded this year.
Rebels?
No, I'm stepping away from this. You brought up horror flicks and how certain things aren't touched and yada yada yada. Let's talk Halloween for a minute.
Okay. No. We're past that. That's not even on the best of list.
No. I'm talking about the best of list. I'm talking about the fact of shouldn't be touched. It was touched. It was touched twice. Another one was saying, "Hey, we're gonna omit everything that you knew," and they put out
That was a well-deserved apology film.
Oh,
that's a difference. That's a well-deserved apology film.
A well-deserved apology film.
Yeah, because compare that to Michael Myers' compare that to Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. Nope. Thank you. I'll take my apology film.
So that's okay for you to get your apology?
No, it shouldn't have been made because it still wasn't as good as the original.
I thought
it still wasn't even a good continuation. It wasn't a good conclusion. It was an okay film. It was an okay film with some really good scenes in it. But it wasn't what I wanted in a film. And it's not, and every fan's going to be polarized by it. But you know what we can all agree on? We can all agree the original for Halloween was great. And you know what most people can agree on? Hollywood, give us an original movie. Give us something new. Stop rehashing the old stuff.
But see, give us something new. But in that same concept of the things that I've seen so far, everyone's like, oh, give us something new, Hollywood. Hollywood does give you something new.
And they don't go see it.
Right. And which is my number one film on the Geek Out half of this whole situation.
Okay, give me your positive here.
No. Finish out your list.
No, because you get your number 2 positive because you gave me.
Oh, these are I haven't even
gone there yet.
I haven't even gotten there yet. I was just bringing up the whole fact of you were talking about how Halloween or horror flicks, they really don't have that. But
no. I know because we do. I've got horrible memories of Freddy Krueger in 2010.
Okay,
I've got
which other
terrible.
One? All right, there was that one. Black Christmas, and there was one other.
Oh yeah, man. There's Sorority Row. You have
they redid Sorority Row.
Yeah, My Bloody Valentine 3D.
I remember that
one. You've got a ton.
Hills Have Eyes.
Got remade. House on Haunted Hill. The Haunting. The Exorcist. Amityville Horror.
The Exorcist was not redone.
The Exorcist Beginning. Excuse me.
Continuation
prequel.
I erased that one from my memory. I let that one go.
It's all in the same wheelhouse. It's the.
All right. You're on
done it. They've done it.
They've done it. Okay, you've proven that they've done it.
Yeah, I was talking about the ones they haven't done it with.
Okay.
I can look at those fondly and go, oh, yeah.
Haven't been touched. Well, that's the difference between sci-fi, though. I mean, there's reasons why it ends up coming back around. And
the horror films that I lifted will eventually come back around. Somebody's going to do it because they're going to run out of good ideas.
Not until the newest one. Jordan Peele's put out his new trailer for his next one called Us. It's nice.
Oh yeah. Well, here's my number 3.
All right, go ahead to your number 3.
My number 3.
Get on with it.
Film of 2018 or film cinematic moment of 2018. How do I say this correctly?
I mean, is it something positive, or are you just going to go ahead and rant about something else?
It was the funniest. No, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen happen at an award show. The Oscars circle jerk.
Wow,
nobody pats
themselves. You're
nobody
on
pats
this.
themselves on the back more than celebrities at the Oscars.
So it's time to go through and start doing
how many
my
movies
list.
actually performed well that were listed at the Oscars? How many movies that won deserve to be there versus the ones that didn't even get listed?
Do you think you're going to see that again this year?
I think we're getting a People's Choice Award on there, which, hey, all right, you're going to give fans of films what they want, which I feel like is, and I get it, dude, it's the Academy Awards. These people are paying money. This is a big advertising thing because now this is an Oscar worthy. This is the next Oscar film. That's a marketing gimmick. I understand it. But then you're acting like this is a real award show. You're paying money to and having your colleagues vote on which one they like best. That's not really an accomplishment. You have the People's Choice Awards. That's actually got something you vote in. But like the Oscars is one giant circle jerk and nothing more. Like nothing was a bigger sign of that than 2018's.
Wow. Hitting on the Oscars, man.
No, that's why the Pundits are a better thing to watch during Oscar season.
Which we're getting into very soon because that time period is coming up.
Best of 2018, right here.
Okay.
The Real Pundits was born in 2018.
Wow. There might some ego on you, man.
That's, for me, the best thing about 2018.
I guess that does have to do with film.
Yeah. Best cinematic moment for you, and they don't even realize it. How influential this is.
Wow, man. You were pat yourself on the back.
Hey, I'm just giving myself an Oscar circle jerk.
But the people did not vote on that, so you don't get that award.
No. That's all it is. That's all it is. I get to vote on it.
Well, let's see what happens this year because we got another season of it coming up right now, the Oscars, and I'm waiting to see what the throwdown's going to be this year, and if we're going to actually have a better announcement of who's running than we did last year between Gollum and Tiffany Haddish. Yeah. That would seem like that was just thrown together, and I forgot that guy's name, Andy Serkis.
Yeah, Andy Serkis. But this is the problem. You're not. What
do you think that Hollywood is no longer established enough to really do an award show the way they did back in the day?
I think that where the problem comes in? Smoke and Mirrors is gone, and they've turned it into a political circus more than it has been an acceptance award show and people being humble. And the behind the scenes is exposed now. It's like professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. We all know it's fake now. Mm-hmm. So where you're not even like we knew it was fake in the 90s when Stone Cold was tearing it up, but you were like, man, I'd love to hit my boss too. You know, that's why adults liked it. I was a kid, so I didn't really have a boss, but
right.
You know, you were like, that guy's a badass. I love him. He's great, right? And it's the same thing with the Oscars and the actors. You're like, wow, they tried really hard. Then now you realize it's all just a political thing. You rub the right shoulders, you shake the right hands, you smile to the right people, and you get the right parts. It's not based on your worth or your merit or how good you did. Yeah, you have to be a good actor to carry a film.
In some of the movies, I think they are actually.
Why did it take Leonardo DiCaprio like 20 years to win an Oscar?
Why did it take Susan Lucci like freaking 30
because it took them
years?
That long to play the game. Yeah. Instead, they cranked out quality films and got overlooked.
But do you think that's what holds the merit? Does having that Oscar really hold merit anymore?
No, it really never did. It holds merit in Hollywood. It gives you good.
It looks good on your resume.
Yeah, it looks really good on your resume in Hollywood. But for the rest of us, who cares? We've watched it because we want to. People watched it because they wanted to see the glamorous celebrities who seem to have these unobtainable lives, dress up in their prettiest of nightgowns and their nicest of tuxedos, and go on stage and graciously accept
and see who would win.
Yeah,
basically, it's the sports arena for the movies.
Correct. Except now, nobody cares. That's why they're getting
people care. I'm still very much
dropping in the ratings. That's why, and all they're doing is patting themselves on the back.
Yes, but in a world where you have it where movies are disposable, how are you expecting to bring people in to watch the disposable awards?
But that's the point. We need to shake up something completely different. Because right now, you and I, if we had the money, we could do a film right now. Mm-hmm. Right? We could go off, shoot it, find good enough actors. We could do our All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. We could do our Ring. We could do our whatever. I keep listing horror films. Mm-hmm. We know what I want to do. Mm-hmm. But we could do our film.
All right.
Right? We could go out, we could film it, we could produce it, we could release it on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Get more, and with the right kind of marketing push through social media, we could get millions of people to watch it for free.
Right.
And millions of people could then share it to millions more people if they like it.
Yeah, I get where you're going with this. Keep on going.
And we wouldn't get mentioned. Even if people loved it. We could do our Shawshank.
Mm-hmm.
A groundbreaking, monumental masterpiece, which is what Shawshank Redemption was.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not a part of the Hollywood machine, are we going to get recognized? Absolutely not.
Not in that arena, but you also have to pay money to go to the ball, man.
Right now, I get you got to pay for it, but
you got to pay the money to go to the ball.
If you are going to tell me that you have a category of best film, but not actually have the best films on the list to choose from, not really the best film, is it?
It's the best film out of this category of these films.
Yeah. I mean, I could pick 6 flowers from my garden and say these are the best flowers. No, they're just the best flowers of my garden. They don't deserve a best title because they're just my flowers.
And I think that's where I understand where you're saying things need to change, but I also think that you still have to have a standard. Not everybody can.
Yeah, we have a standard. It's called everything made before 1990. Except A Christmas Story.
Okay, I was wondering if you're going to add that one in there because I was going to throw that one back at you.
Even that has more effort put in than some of these films that are being cranked out. So maybe it does deserve that one.
See, now I've changed your mind.
Yeah, look at that. All right, all you have to do is give me think of Hollywood right now. All right, so on that note, my top 3 moments of 2018 have been listed. I know.
Wow, I
sound so bitter.
Yeah, man, like you need a hug after this?
No, man, I'm good. I got it all out.
Okay, you got it all out.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm not crying in my pillow.
I don't think we are anymore.
I hope not. I want to see a different 2019. That's my hope. Here's my hope for 2019.
You say you want to see a better 2019, and what comes out at the end of 2019? Really, dude?
Oh yeah, no,
you're getting ready for the next Star Wars movie.
That's what you said. Abrams is back at the helm, and everybody's hopeful. Here's what I want to see out of 2019.
All right, let's see
what quality films come out in the theaters. Which that's a stretch. So I at least want to see.
Have you not looked at the list of what's coming out this year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
it's a stretch.
It's a stretch. It's a really good stretch.
We got a Hellboy sequel.
That's a yoga stretch.
Dang, I just started. I want to see a slowdown on Marvel. I know that's also a stretch. I want to see people enjoy theater. I want to see people enjoy films as what they're intended to be made and not complain about, and I'm saying this, not complain about they didn't use enough of this. I'll use the example of
which movie?
Not the Force Awakens, the Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't enough like Empire. No, they didn't want it to be enough like Empire.
It
wasn't supposed to be enough like Empire.
It's supposed to be a continuation off of that last story. I wasn't looking for.
And I blame The Walking Dead for this.
How are you transferring this one?
Okay,
you're off-roading right now. You're off-roading.
It's going to circle back. Trust me.
Okay.
So even if the directors and showrunners of The Walking Dead had an intention, like was reported, of killing Daryl,
mm-hmm.
so many fans thought they could control the show and say, "Well, if Daryl dies, we quit watching." And out of concern for the rating, even though that character didn't live past its logical conclusion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now fans think that they have a say in the creation process, and they can yell, scream, and curse at studio heads and writers and, oh, well, you did this wrong, and you, the actress, you didn't do this right, like that poor girl that was in Star Wars.
Oh yeah, she got burned pretty bad.
You guys are fans paying money to see these people do a job.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I get it. You're paying money, so you feel that your opinion really matters. But you're paying to see somebody else's creation. If you want to see your movie, you go write, direct, and create your movie. I am a critic. I'm going to criticize the actions being taken.
It's more of a cynic, but I'm going to let that one go.
Okay. My job is to tell people my opinion on the films.
There you go.
But you can make whatever film you want, Hollywood. I have hopes. I don't want to see recreations, rehashings. And I'm damn sure not going to bully somebody online for it. I'm not going to write angry emails to studio heads. I'm just going to talk about it on this podcast like my opinion really matters to anybody other than me. I'm not going to tweet at an actress and harass her for the job she did in a film when it was her dream to be in a Star Wars film. She lived her dream and she got harassed for it.
I'm glad you're standing up for that after all the negative things you said.
No, there's a lot of things that are uncalled for, man, and that's one of them. That's why I said Star Wars fans are the worst.
For that part, I won't even try to fight you on that one. But that one was bad.
They reacted so poorly to everything Star Wars from the beginning of the end of 2017. But see,
the problem is we're doing the same thing that the world is doing right now, and I am going to stop you on that. We're lumping, all because of I won't say the actions of a few. The actions of a few type of situation, because not all Star Wars fans feel like that. Now, do we have an opinion about some things? Yes.
But I want to see people shut up. I want to see people shut up and just enjoy. Stop trying to tell people how to create. Do you know what I read somewhere that George, man, R.R. Martin, people were yelling and screaming at him.
Why?
Because he hasn't finished Winds of Winter yet.
There's no reason to yell at him.
But there apparently there have been people harassing him with like letters. Like this man has spent years.
And this is an old story. That's the problem. I think most people don't even realize.
Developing a book, and if you look at his books, and this is going to lead us into the eventual talk of Game of Thrones. And yes, this is going to be a little bit of a longer episode than normal, but it's the end of the year, man.
Okay.
He is writing 6 novels in every book.
Mm-hmm.
Each character has its own novel in his book.
Mm-hmm.
He is writing 6 different stories in his book. And yes, they occasionally intertwine and intermix, but every one of them is their own. Do you know how hard that is to write one person's perspective in a book?
Yes.
I know you do, because you, like me, have attempted to write books. We've written some books.
Yeah.
And it's hard to write a book in a person's perspective.
It's a challenge, but I think the problem that I think a lot of these people who truly aren't initiated, because I keep on talking about geek initiated, this is definitely one of those things. Songs of Fire and Ice is an old thing. He's written other things that have nothing to do with Songs of Fire and Ice and have moved forward from that going...
He's written historical pieces.
Yeah.
On A Song of Ice and Fire. He wrote the Brothers, Sons of the Dragon. He wrote The Dance of the Dragons. He's written...
So let the man get to it whenever he gets to it. It's like people trying to say they were yelling at Anne Rice, that poor little thing, to go through and continue on the Vampire Lestat.
Yeah, while she was writing about Jesus. Like, stop writing about Jesus and write about Lestat. And then she did it. She wrote the Prince Lestat.
And then
that was garbage.
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
I hated that. Did I is that where it went? Did I hand it to you?
I think so.
Okay.
I have 2 copies.
All right, good. So you have my copy. All right, because I've been trying to figure out where my copy went.
But the concept comes down to it is, I think, like you were saying beforehand, and I will agree with you, we as the people who are being entertained, as the public, our voices are getting kind of bold, but it's kind of hard to sit there and say that when it's our job to go through and use our voices.
It is our job to voice our opinion,
right?
But we do not use our platform to bully people, except.
Okay, I can name one person I'll bully. I will bully Mel Brooks to continue on doing one last thing, make me laugh one more time.
Nah, you know what? That man's done his service. My hat goes off to him.
But I'll still bully him though.
I will bully every studio executive that greenlights a Crow film and tell them that they shouldn't do it because it's an insult to Brandon Lee.
See, you'll have something that you'll stand up for.
Yeah, but that's me standing up. That's not me harassing people.
True.
I'm going to voice it on this podcast, and that's where I'm going to end it. Because here's the thing. We live in a world where everybody's ear is at our fingertips. We can type something, we can say something, we can do something, and you can reach it to anybody you want to. And because of that, people feel emboldened, right? People feel like they are, and we live in a world where because everything is one instant access, we feel entitled. We feel that we deserve what we want. You know what? They were going to make they're going to make Halloween films whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
And I can cry all I want about it.
Especially when part 2 comes out in 2020.
I will. I'm going to cry about it because it shouldn't be done. Man, it shouldn't be done, but they're going to do it. They're going to do it, and the people are going to buy it. And
I'm going to go see it, and I'm going to sit down and watch it. Yeah. See, that's the difference, though. I value these films, which is the perfect segue. I'm talking about valuing films, and I'm going to try to keep this quick.
Positive lists.
My positive list for this year, because the reason why I'm saying it's a crossover show is because all 3 of my movies are in the world of geekdom.
Hey, so some of mine.
Yeah, but my top 3 movies, and the category of me putting them on there has to do with the fact of if somebody was playing them on a TV right this second, would I stop everything I'm doing to watch it? So here's the list. Number 3 on the list is Black Panther. My reasonings were a well put together Marvel film. There are some things that I would say that could have been done differently, but I think that as far as the Marvel films, that one threw down and it resonated really well. It made people go, this was enjoyable. That's my number 3. My number 2.5, because up beforehand, this movie it's a tie right now because Into the Spider-Verse and Aquaman are both amazing movies. Artistically, Into the Spider-Verse, they've done something that they've entertained me. It's visually stimulating, and I will watch it any chance I get a chance to see it. Aquaman, DC mastered their storyline of actually putting together a movie. This was well put together. The villains didn't go the way you expect them to. Visually, it was overstimulating. There were some pacing issues, but still, if it was on right now, I would stop everything I'm doing and I would watch it. And my number 1 movie for all of 2018 goes all the way back to the very beginning of 2018. Annihilation. I loved that movie. Sci-fi to the brim. There's things you'd have to watch it 2-3 times to understand exactly what's going on. And to me, in the world of sci-fi, it's been very long since we've had a science fiction movie that you would have to go through and watch more than once. Everything's kind of spoon-fed. This movie did not give you that same situation. Props to them for adapting the concepts of that book into a movie, and I thought they did an okay job doing the translation from book to movie. But I think Annihilation is my hats off for 2018. Is the best movie I watched this year.
Nice. So nice and positive. What's your hope for 2019?
Again, pretty much the same as yours, but I'm looking forward to it a little bit more glee. I want to see what they're going to create. If it's going to be a remake, wow me. If it's going to be a retelling of a story that we already know, do something that makes me go, I was not expecting that. Entertain me. I think my biggest thing is don't give me disposable movies. Give me classics or things that will become classics in years.
I need to explain something because I just said something to the audience.
Oh.
I told them if they have a problem with the way things are done, write their own film, make their own film. Mm-hmm. For those of you that think I'm standing on a soapbox of hypocrisy, I, in fact, am writing a film and have written many a film. Whether they've gone anywhere or not, that's not the difference. I've made the attempt.
Yeah.
I don't like the way things are going, so I'm making my own. Right? So I'm not giving you advice standing on a soapbox of hypocrisy going, oh, you should do this. Knowing how hard it is, yeah, it's difficult. And that's why you should respect at least a little bit of what they're doing because it's hard to get to where they are. Mm-hmm. The actors, the filmmakers, the writers, it's expensive to make a film. You can't just, and to create a cohesive script, not have too much filler.
And so does that mean you're going to go ahead and give A Christmas Story the 1.5 that it deserves?
It gets a 1.
Okay, at least we got to there. I had to try, man.
It gets a 1. You'll get a solid 1 because it does take an effort and there was a story that is better than what's being pumped out. But I needed to preface that so they understood, like, I'm not just standing on some soapbox going, oh, just do this. I'm doing exactly that.
Which leads me into, since we were talking about future plans of stuff, and really you're not, you're just talking about the fact that you are writing a script and I'm actually helping. But the concept is
the real pundits are writing a script.
What are the 6 people that are listening right now? What do they have to look forward to for 2019?
2019
on the Real Pundits.
On the Real Pundit side, we are going to be on YouTube in 2019.
Doing what?
We're going to be doing reactions to trailers.
Yeah, and I have a trailer. I have a trailer that you have to watch. A conversation got brought up, and I had to watch the Scarface trailer.
The new one?
No.
The old one?
The original Scarface trailer.
The original.
Yeah. No, not the black and white original.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the Al Pacino Scarface movie.
So we're going to be reacting to trailers.
We have to do that one first.
Well, that's not really a reaction because you've just seen it.
Trust me. It'll be worthy to watch your face. To watch your face while watching this trailer.
So we're going to be doing some new, some old, a lot of classics and some new trailers.
Oh man!
So that's going to be the intro to us on YouTube, is doing trailer reactions, and you'll see us that way, and then we'll be branching into the eventual Goal is between mid and end of 2019 to be live streaming these podcasts onto the video platform as well, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. So we have a live audience as well, and then people can listen to it audio side, or
and then you can also comment right then and there.
Yeah, be interactive with us on the super chat.
And then you can probably stop him from getting in too deep into his rants. Cause
that's true. You could say something just to set me off too.
That's also the downside of that whole thing.
Anybody want to? But you'll have to pay for that. That'll be you could if you're a Patreon supporter, you can contribute to the rants.
I'll make sure it's free if you want to get at him. No, just let me know. Hit me up on Twitter.
Yeah,
and a real pundit. And I'll just fire him up for you because I'm not going to have people pay to fire him up.
So on a positive note, we will be doing that. We're going to be taking a bit of a change to the Real Pundits platform. We're going to be doing a lot of classic films next year. It might be its own show. It might be the Real Pundits for a while and then branch off to be its own show. But we have, because we have so much negative things to say, or excuse me, let me rephrase that, because I have so much negative to say about current state of Hollywood. We're going to get into the genre in which I don't have a lot of negative to say to. Plus, for some of you out there, you may be listening to film podcasts because you like the idea of film, but you haven't seen some classics. So why not have two guys explain where we come from?
Over some of the classics that we happen to enjoy and the things that
not even just things that we know we enjoy, because there's plenty of films we haven't seen.
Oh yeah, I bumped into one recently,
and we're gonna watch them, review them. We'll be doing some other things.
Yeah. The Geek Out is gonna do a very big branch over into YouTube, and definitely there's going to be more. But right now, I'm just kind of prepping for our YouTube side of things, so I can go through and start having a face to the things that are saying that I'm going to be going through, keeping it as ambiguous as possible. But we're going to be doing some things with that. We're going to make a transfer. We're still going to, of course, have the Real Pundits as a show on for you to listen to and soon to watch.
Yep.
So you can actually see him getting fired up and getting red in the face and
sweating profusely.
Yeah, man's getting just amped up. But either way, it's been a great 2018. We got through a year of doing this, and it's not officially the birthday of the Real Pundits. We're not going to get too rah-rah about it, but it's close. February. But the whole thing comes down is whoever's listening, you've been with us for almost a year now. We're about to do some more things for you.
Yep, 2018. We're going to get the object. We're going to be bringing on some different people.
Yeah.
Some guests for the Geek Out.
Yes.
I would like to get into a debate with somebody that Alex knows, who's the better classic monster, whether it's Creature of the Black Lagoon or the monster.
Yes, sir.
The Birth by Frankenstein.
We're gonna have, that's just gonna be you yelling at somebody.
Yeah.
You're just gonna. I don't want to bring her over.
I love Creature too, man. So like, it's not that I don't. It's not that I dislike Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's just not as he's just not as good as Frankenstein's monster, and it's okay.
And they both can be eaten by the blob. I win. So, moving forward.
Not Classic Universal, though.
Not Classic Universal, but still classic.
It doesn't count because it's not Classic Universal.
Can't okay. Conversation. Okay, it can, because it'll eat the conversation too. Anyways.
Fair enough.
Anyways, but hey, it's been fun. We went a little long this time, almost exactly longer than we should have been. But hey.
Perfect.
It's perfect. You got it all out of your system. So, I'm hoping, this is my goal for 2018 into 2019. You got it all out of your system.
I can be positive
from 2019 forward. Let's be a little bit more positive.
I'm gonna try to be
not so much a cynic.
I'm not. No.
So that I can actually go through.
I'm gonna put a minimal effort into that.
So I can start being cynical right now. And we can talk about Happy Time Murders. How that was the abomination of 2018.
I mean,
do we really have that? Oh, the clock is coming up. It's no time for me to talk about the worst film of 2018.
Okay, so
Happy Time Murders.
That actually, we both agree to that. The worst film of 2018 is in fact Happy Time Murders.
That is the bottom of the list.
Mm-hmm.
That is the worst.
Followed by Solo, a Star Wars story.
I wrote that down because that's the way I feel.
No, it's true though.
It wasn't.
And then followed after that is The Nun.
I'll scratch off my number 3 for that.
The Nun, because the Conjuring series needs to stop.
You know what? That does get you fired up, but hey, it is something original.
I don't mind The Conjuring.
Okay.
but it's not really that original.
When you're dealing with the nun, you're taking the part.
Yeah, and
they did the same thing for what was the other one? Paranormal Activity.
Yeah,
they just took one part of the story and was like, hey, let's expand on that.
The demonic ones or whatever the heck that was.
Yeah, they're just
and then Sinister. Then they've got Insidious, and I mean, all of these things are basically just rehashings of Amityville Horror and Poltergeist.
Well, that's the sound that says we're done. It's been fun, people.
Happy
New Year. Even though you had all this negativity, let's hope that you have a great 2019 intro, and we'll see you on the other side of 2019.
Positivity. Marvel did bring people together.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, people. Bye.